Welcome, it's Ann Guerrero and Logan Shanks. This is another one of our series of short, less than 10 minutes webinars to address some concerns that our participants and clients have been expressing. And we'd like to address the market concerns of those listeners with 5 years or less until retirement. And when we think of some of the inbound calls that our client service center and my team, I had the education team that we've been receiving, as well as Logan has been making a lot of outbound calls, as have our other financial advisors to their clients. And we can start with thinking a little bit about what kinds of questions we've been receiving. So one of the questions we've been receiving is, I don't really know where to turn, or I'm confused, or, I have such a short time until retirement. Logan, can you speak to this whole idea of where should people be seeking their advice?
Yeah, thank you, Ann. First off, I would really, really strongly encourage everyone to just evaluate where they get their advice from. First, if you have that ability, I would look for starting with your trusted advisor. That's not necessarily a friend who may or may not be more panicked than you are or the news. I would say that Alerus has more than a handful of people who would be happy to assist with walking through what is happening. We have advisors and dedicated guides on hand to be able to assist. From there, if you must watch the news or listen to it, and I'd plan on when you will watch it. Some limit it to just in the morning or around the lunchtime to give them time to digest what's going on throughout the day. We've just had calls, or I've taken calls from clients or participants that say, they're watching it at night or right before they go to bed, and then they get nervous or anxious and they can't go to sleep. And so I would say figure out when makes the most sense for you to watch the news is pretty important. And then lastly, I would say that you just need to understand that the news is designed to get clicks or views, and will typically create headlines designed to get your attention. One of the easiest ways to do that is to try and scare people, not by saying everything is rosy. If you say it's fantastic, you're not going to get as many clicks as the world's falling. That's why people make money being doomsdayers 24/7. If you must watch the news, I'd say try to find a source that gives as much of an unbiased opinion as possible. If you can't seem to find one of those, they're not easy to find in today's world. Try to watch or take in news from multiple sources with differing opinion points. The truth will probably lie somewhere in the middle.
We appreciate those thoughts, and that really sort of ties into our next theme would be what we're calling our emotional check-in. So as all of us are highly, highly concerned with the health of our nation, of the world, of our friends, of our family, our financial health as well is equally important. So can you sort of expand on this idea of what we're calling the emotional check-in?
Yeah, again, I'd say one of the first things that you should be doing here is just making sure that you're not overreacting. Again, the news, as I just mentioned, is designed to get your emotions going, and we are emotional beings. So try to stay calm and collected through this. You also have to know that it is natural to be anxious about the markets. When the markets are going up at a quick rate or down at a quick rate, you're going to have those days where you make a lot or lose a lot of money. And you just have to understand that that's just what happens in the markets. From there, something that you can actually do is I ask people to gauge their anxiety on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being they can't sleep, 1 being they're completely fine and just want to know what's going on. If you're a 10, then I'd say you're probably quite a bit more aggressive than you should be. It's nice when you have the upsides and you're aggressive because you get to capture most of that gain, but you also get most of that loss on the downside. And so you should really evaluate where you are on a scale. And then from there, you really have to assess your goals and costs of selling out of your stock funds at the current point, right? If you are a 10 and you're one of the people that's calling in and saying, hey, look, I can't sleep at night, this is rough, you have to really assess, your goals and what you may gain or lose by selling out. If you sell out of your stock funds and go more conservative after a significant loss of value in your account, it'll be harder to make that money back long-term due to having less money in the stock market. if you were to, on the opposite side, sell out of your stock funds while the market's going up, you may miss out on some of the gains you would have had you stayed put in, and could bring in some second guessing. And so neither of those are really optimal. Making sure that you're in the best place possible is obviously your first and foremost goal there.
I really like that we landed on goals because I head our team of educators and I make a lot of presentations, as does my team, as does Logan. And it's safe to say, isn't it, Logan, that we talk about goals in every interaction that we have with participants. And what's going on in the world has certainly caused people to think more about their goals. And instead of prescribed goals or sort of these shoulds, Logan, please talk a little bit more about how they're personalizing their goals or re-examining their goals.
Yeah, and so this is the part of the conversation where it is directly attributed to those people who are 5 years or sooner going to retire 5 years or sooner, I guess is an easier way to say that. And so goals are important because what some of the smart people in finance and behavioral sciences have found out is that it's easier to save for and be confident in yourself when you're saving for a goal and not for a set value. When you try and save for a set value, I need X dollars in my account. When you have a big pullback, you tend to think the absolute worst rather than, all right, I'm saving for, my retirement and I want to keep my lifestyle how it is. And so that's really what's suggested, is to keep thinking about your savings as getting closer to the goal rather than I just lost 30%. Now I'm 30% further from my goal than I was beforehand. And so after you do all that, after you look at your goals, it's really important to understand a couple of different things here. And so the action items from this call is that, one, looking at your goals and saying, all right, what is my goal? How much do I need to fill that bucket? If you have a financial advisor, they should be able to walk through this with you. But then you can see if you can safely lower your stock exposure and still be on track to meet your necessary and hopeful goals, then you could look into that and just understand that you may have to forego some of the growth in your account down the road. If you can't lower your stock exposure and maintain your retirement timeline, then you need to evaluate the extra dollars you'd like to have in retirement. See if working an extra year or two would be worth the extra things you'd like to do. And then lastly, the other option here is if working an extra year or two might not be in the cards for you due to health reasons or other unknown circumstances that I couldn't go over on a webinar, then it may just be unfortunate that you have to turn off the news and understand that there is a certain amount of risk that is necessary to help you achieve those goals. Long-term risk can pay off, and sometimes you just have to understand that it's unfortunate, but it's a necessary evil in our world. And so that's what I would really say around the goals and trying to make sure that we think about it in a holistic manner rather than just say, oh, darn, I just lost 30%. Now what do I do?
Logan, I'm so appreciative that you're helping all of us, everyone listening, focus on the future, because we're so focused right now on the present and we're worried about the future, and you had people really look at, hey, there can be a brighter future out there. Let me just finish and close here, and Logan will end with you might have one or two extra remarks, but I just want to focus on the participant website is very important at this time, and on the next slide I'll show you our phone contact, the Client Service Center, and it's alarisrb.com. And the reason it's important is some of you may be meeting with financial advisors. You maybe want to make some change in how your assets are allocated. Maybe you need a beneficiary form, or maybe you want to use some of the tools that are available on the website, goal setting tools, looking at retirement, looking at risk tolerance. So it's really important to access the website because that's where all this information and where transactions are made. And I would also share that here's our Client Service Center number, and this is the place to start. For example, I tried to log in and I was locked out. Where do I find that beneficiary form again? Or how can I access the services of an Alaris financial advisor? People all across the country are listening, and we do have people across the country who can help. So make that query to the Client Service Center, and they can direct you to someone who can assist you in that financial advising. And I just wanted to thank everybody for taking part. And Logan, do you have any closing remarks?
No, again, I'd just say, just as a recap, evaluate where you get your information from, understand where you do lie on that risk level, and then understand your goals and think about the long-term effects of a move that you make rather than making it an emotional choice. And so, yeah, that's all I have for you today.
Thank you so much, Logan. Everyone, be well, stay well. Thanks for taking part, and stay tuned. We'll be presenting some more material in the future. Thank you.